Hey everyone, it's been quite a while. I've been back to work for a couple months now after my knee surgery, and I work here at Headwater Precision. We make the Orvis fly fishing products, as I was telling you, and I also have another job. It's the Whetstone Beer Company. Now, I'm a bartender here, been here for a couple months. We've been doing really good, killing it on the weekends, but people mostly come here for the beer and for the view. And as you can see, they had to build a bridge to make a bridge to replace this bridge. So, as you can see, this place used to be called Riverview Cafe back in the day. It got bought out by Whetstone quite a while ago. It's been Whetstone Beer Company for a little while. Riverview Cafe, well, I guess you can get the idea why they got the name. Now, this river being the Connecticut River. Now, you guys have seen me up north in Pittsburgh, up near the Canadian border, fishing off the Connecticut lakes. That's the Connecticut River. We are at the bottom of New Hampshire. Massachusetts line is right down the road. So it's a much bigger part of the river. If you've seen the Connecticut River up in Pittsburgh, it literally boils out of the mountains. So down here it's pretty vast. It's like swamp water down here. Up north it's clean, clear water, so it's a whole lot different. Now one might ask, where did they come up with the name Whetstone? Well, that's the Whetstone Brook right there. Whetstone Brook dumps out into Connecticut, so they came out with Whetstone Beer Company. Makes sense, right? But besides all that, back to the homestead. So, back here at home, Sobrilius. We're going to talk about that thing in a minute. The thing pissed me off. It's left me stranded a couple times. We're going to talk about why that left me stranded. So, in the meantime, being stranded means I've got to ride the dirt bike to and from work. Now, having two jobs, it makes it real difficult when you're trying to manage time and you got a Jeep that just wants to start when it wants to start. So I got caught on the bike a couple of times in the rain. Now, having to go to work in the rain on a bike really sucks when you don't have rain gear, so you know how that goes. But on another note, being stranded with some friends and only having a bike is another thing. So my friend Ashley had to ride on the back of this with me. I had to bring her back here. On this bike, I have no rear pegs. So she had to wrap her legs around me. I had to wear her like a backpack. I mean, I put my helmet on her, you know, protect the precious cargo. But when it come down to it, it was a pretty hell of a ride. I mean, she did great, but me riding without a helmet, I only get away with that in New Hampshire because live free or die, we don't have a helmet law. But trying to take that bike at nighttime, with that headlight you can't see 10 feet in front of you. So we had a pretty hell of a ride getting here. But regardless of all that, I had no helmet on. Made me realize I'm hearing some noises coming from the bike. I can hear all sorts of things. So come to find out, my chain in my roller was shot. So the other day I put a brand new chain on the bike. I got a new roller coming. I got the new slider. This thing is whisper quiet, which in hindsight is kind of a good thing that I rode without a helmet that night because I could hear this. So the bike's good. Now the Jeep on the other hand, we're going to talk about why this thing pisses me off. So I spent a fair amount of time selling all the parts off of this while I was out on disability. I couldn't afford a lot of things, so a lot of my parts had to go to pay for a lot of the things I couldn't afford. But in the meantime, the thing stopped running. Just had every light on the dashboard go off. It was super obnoxious, and this happened to me this past winter, around December, February, something like that. All of a sudden, all the lights on the dash were going off. Come to find out, my batteries were dying. Now, my battery system was linked to two other batteries and a power inverter originally. I made it so that I could run power to everything, all my overlanding. I had all the power I needed. But come winter time, when you have 4 batteries in one vehicle, if one of those starts to drain or gets weak, it will start to take the juice from all the other batteries. So what happened is all 4 of my batteries died all at once. They drained each other dry. I ended up having to get towed one day. It was a super pain in the ass. Now, when it comes down to it, I took the extra batteries, the power inverter out of the Jeep. I'm only running the primary battery and the secondary battery, the little lawnmower battery they put underneath it. Totally ridiculous. But a month ago, this thing started doing the same thing. Lights on the dash. I'm thinking, well, it's the batteries. Now I'm gonna have to take these things out, put them on a charger, make sure it's not the batteries. Taking apart those batteries is a pain in the ass. You have to take the first battery out, you have to take the fuse box out, and then you got to get to the second trap door or whatever to get the secondary battery. Okay, sure, got them out, charged them up. They were fully charged. So apparently it wasn't a battery problem. So after about 2 weeks of being stranded, riding the bike to work, in the rain, all sorts of stupid, yeah, all sorts of things, I found out what it was. Let me show you. Pop your glove box out. And if you have all your power to your Jeep and you have all these problems with all lights and everything, blind spot, backup lights, can't shift in gear, all that sort of problem, like your battery's dead, well, it's probably not the battery once you charge the thing. It's this stupid little thing. It's kind of like a junction box for the rest of your electrical system. When this thing fails, everything seems to go wrong. So I only figured out it was this because I wiggled some wires and it started working good for a couple of weeks. After a couple of weeks, I ended up buying a new one of these and I haven't had a problem since. So I believe I diagnosed the problem is this little green junction box that's behind your glove box. If you ever run into this problem, the part number, Mopar part number, I'll list it below. This is the part you want. It's $50 for this part. Save you the trip to the dealership, $150 diagnosis just to find out it's this little cheap piece of plastic. First of all, the glove box will hit these wires when you close it, and it pushes on them and it pries on the connectors. That's one problem. Second problem, see that heater core line right there? That thing is an inferno. That is so hot, it bakes this whole area behind your glove box. I don't know if you've ever had anything in your glove box, like deodorant or lipstick or chapstick. It will melt. Why? Because your heater core line is right behind it. It gets so hot in here, it'll just bake this little unit. So once I replaced this unit, everything was good to go. So for any of you that might have noticed, it's a little bit different color. So I ended up getting a white top. I ended up selling the black top to get it, and I removed some of the vinyl on the upper part of the Jeep. So now it has a white top. It's a little bit more of a fresh look. It was just for looks. Nothing cosmetic really changed. Everything about the Jeep is still the same, other than the fact that I sold some of my overlanding parts. I still got the awning, the shower, all that stuff. I'm not sure how to mount it because I don't have my roof rack on there anymore. I'm thinking about putting a cap on the back of it. Kind of controversial because it's still not long enough for you to sleep in the back. I kind of want the option to sleep in the Jeep. That's kind of always been one thing I want an option of doing. So I haven't got there yet. But in the meantime, I did get the garage done. I got the garage door. Everything's good to go. As far as adventures go, I was planning on going to Colorado at the end of the month, but we're not going to be able to go because of timing and me working the 2 jobs. So right now we're just trying to manage doing a little bit of YouTube on the side, trying to get some current events going, trying to do some fun stuff to film. It's been hot, it's been miserable. We've been working a lot. So this is life right now. As far as the channel goes, like I've been doing the channel for a while now and I'm always doing it by myself. I'd really like to have somebody to go with me and, you know, collaborate and talk to and like share things with in person. It's great sharing everything with you guys. You guys are the greatest fans and at least you guys watch the content. But when it comes down to it, late at night, it's pretty damn lonely being me. So from here on out, I think the adventures are going to be with other people. We're going to take people along. We're going to have fun together. Probably more local stuff. I mean, we've been traveling across the country, seeing all the cool stuff. We can see plenty of cool stuff around here. So that's the story for now. It's time to get back out there. And until next time, happy adventures.